Hey everyone, my name's Ollie, and welcome to my art show, where I break down some of my art and animation for you. So if you watch my Invincible Season 1 review, you'll know I really dug the show. So for this video, I decided to draw one of my favorite characters from the show, Omni-Man. If you want to check out my review, you can find it here. But as for this video, I'll be breaking down my drawing process. But before we get started, you like animation, right? Then consider subscribing, cause I've got a bunch of videos coming real soon. Okay, so the first thing I did was try to find a scene from the show I could use as a reference for my rough drawing. So I went with this one, for the memery of course. The next step was to get started on my reference sketch, which I did in Adobe Photoshop. To be honest, I only made slight adjustments to the line work by curving out some of the anatomy, bringing in the waist and refining some of the lines on the face. I picked my light source and then put in references for my highlights and shadows. Highlights in yellow and shadows in blue. I usually decide on the lighting for a drawing early on because it sets the tone for the entire drawing and informs the color choices I make. For my drawing, I changed the lighting quite a bit. The original scene is lit by this orangey sky, and the characters are sort of dimly lit. But for my drawing, I wasn't planning on placing the character in any specific context, so I went with a brighter lighting setup. This is the color palette from the scene in the show, and this is the color palette I used. Once all the setup and reference work was done, I headed over to Adobe Illustrator to create my final vector drawing. I made geometric shapes to form base colors for the different parts of the character. I moved the points around and curved them out where needed to closely match my reference drawing. Once I was done with the base colors, I drew in some of the inner lines on the character by hand. I refined these lines and then added in my highlights and shading. And this is my final rendering in Adobe After Effects, where I added a tiny bit of animation. I added some wiggle code to the hair tufts and cape pieces, as well as some glow to the highlights using a plugin called Deep Glow. And that's about it. I had a ton of fun drawing this character and making this video. Again, if you want to check out my review for Invincible, where I share my thoughts on the first season, you can find it here. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you really liked it, you can show me by liking and subscribing. It helps out the channel too. Good luck and good night.